Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I'm playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we about to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. 716 make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and him. Talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What's going on? Welcome back to another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast. I'm almost 100%. The fellas is here, and we ready to rock this joint. Listen, I am your co-host, Aramis.
And I am Melly Mizzle.
And I am distressed. No, what's happening, y'all? What's happening with it?
Fellas, look, let's take a second and just whatever news, whatever lighthearted info y'all want to get out. Let's start with that. Let's start with stuff we heard. Just let's. You
said lighthearted? Nah, ain't no lighthearted. You know. I don't know.
You just want to go in?
No, I mean I got stuff. I just don't know how lighthearted it is.
Oh,
I thought you were gonna say all truth, no sodium. I mean, I got a lot of.
I did say all truth, no sodium.
Oh, you did? Because I got sodium.
Oh,
not with the team.
Okay, well I
got grapes.
Give us the low hanging fruit first. Yeah. Don't give us the meat yet.
Well, well that's the problem.
Oh, all your stuff.
That's all I can eat is meat.
It's all meaty in there.
That's all I can eat is meat and vegetables. That's my gripe. I'm on a diet again. Why am I doing this to myself?
I don't want to give people any more ammo to say we say meat too much, so I'm gonna just I'm gonna just take that out of the conversation.
Protein.
Yeah. We might actually talk a little basketball on set here today, but
what? What was your doing?
Maybe we'll see if we have time. But
we'll see what happens.
All right, so let's do this. Let's just start here. Your guys' thoughts on the press conferences from McDermott?
You starting with the press conferences?
Why not? Because
that's going to be the meat of the show. That's going to be it. But I mean, I can do it, but that's probably all we're going to get to. But I got to pull my notes up for that, though.
Okay. So then we got to.
All right. So we can do. Did anybody see the skills challenge for the Pro Bowl?
No,
I didn't get to watch that. I know you did.
I watched it. It was pretty cool. NFC they three-peated. So Eli beat his brother again for the third year in a row. One thing I was looking at, though, is I'm going to have to say on the NFC side, take football out of the equation, I think the NFC has better athletes than the AFC.
Ooh.
Like all-around athletes, like just being strong and fast. I think they really have better athletes in the NFC. I think it's just we have better teams and maybe better coaching on the AFC side of the ball.
Better quarterbacks. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I go with that.
But it seems like, man, like, every time they try to do something, NFC was winning everything. I'm like, dude, tug of war, the obstacle course, every challenge, NFC was killing them.
But that's the stuff I really like, though. I like that stuff.
You know,
I don't care about the game. You know, when it comes to even football season, what do I like? Off season. Yeah. I'm weird. I like the stuff that's not the stuff that we're supposed to be watching.
Right.
Give me the stuff.
Right.
Give me the stuff.
Now, I don't know if that's because, like your Josh Allen's not coming, your Lamar Jackson's is not coming, your Derrick Henry's is not coming. So I don't know if that plays a factor in it, but it just seems to me like watching it, and I don't watch the whole thing. Like I watch bits and pieces. It's like I watch the good stuff, the stuff that's interesting. But yeah, man, if it seems like they got better athletes than the AFC has.
Yeah. Okay. I respect that. Yeah, I think. I mean, like I said, those are fun, and if you like that stuff, which I do, I have an affinity. I want to see this. I want to see the fastest man challenge. I want to see the bench press back. I want to see, let them do the vertical again. This is like when you become a police officer. No offense, and you don't do the training again. You're pretty much in. You got to hit a recurrent, but you don't have to do what you did the first time.
Yep.
Yeah. That's why you kind of see guys let themselves go a little bit, just a little smidge, just a smidge.
Yeah. I did get to see Deion Dawkins, Conor McGovern, and James Cook there. It's funny. They had a trivia time, and one of the trivia questions was, "Who is the coach's favorite player?"
Oh man,
they both got it right. Because one of those, if both of you have the right answer, then it's right. So if one of you off, then you don't get points for it. But Conor McGovern and Deion Dawkins both said the same person.
They said James Cook.
Who do you think is McDermott's favorite player?
McDermott's favorite player.
Yeah.
Mac Hollins.
Who? No, he said McDermott, not Keyshawn's.
No, I think it's Matt Collins.
Yeah. So originally, when they first did it, I'm like, oh, it's got to be Matt Milano.
Ooh.
Right? I'm like, it's got to be Matt Milano. Like, he loves Matt Milano. That's his guy.
Yeah.
Guess who the answer was?
Wait, did you guess?
I already know.
He already
We talked
know.
about it.
Oh, okay.
Guess who the answer was?
Who?
Deion Dawkins.
What?
Listen, Deion Dawkins said himself.
Why?
Connor McGovern, without hesitation.
Him.
As soon as he asked the question, so Terry Crews was the host. He said, "Who's the coach's favorite player?" He said, "Oh, that's easy." Without hesitation. I'm like, yo, why do McDermott like Dawkins? Like, his personality, it just doesn't. I don't know. I don't know why he likes Deion Dawkins over everybody else.
I'm gonna tell you why, because Deion know how to he know how to switch that blackness off when he need to. That's how you know. That's how you know he switched that thing off right on time, boy. Oh, here comes Sean. Hey, Sean, how are you doing? How are you doing? How you doing, Sean? Yeah, I'm good. I'm doing great.
Well. I'm well.
Yeah, I'm well. I'm well.
I hate when people say I'm well. Oh, I hate when people say I'm well.
Oh my gosh, that's exactly what it is, man. You know how to flip that switch. What?
Uh-oh.
How? Did you move something?
Can we hear us?
They can hear us.
They can't see
All
us.
right.
They can hear us, but they can't see us. Okay,
Let's keep the party started.
I can't switch it from here.
It's all right.
So
I was already late, so.
go back into.
You know, I always had my favorite players. Mostly, they were always offensive players. So with this team, this rendition of the team, you know, I like Keon, I like Josh, I like a bunch of players. So for me, I didn't have like a bona fide, this is my overall favorite player. I have right now, a overall favorite player over everybody. And it's because of the comments that he said outside of football and outside of like the press conference.
Okay.
James Cook, bro. He is now my bona fide favorite player on the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, I
Hands down.
I think I did.
I
hear
wasn't
about
even.
this.
I didn't even
Hands
course
down.
This wasn't even me.
One for me. He plays like that on the field, right? Like we kind of talked about it. Like, who do you want? You want a player to be real good in the locker room or in the field? Like, I want both. I want a guy to be dominant on the field, but I want that personality, and I don't want you to be who people want you to be. I want you to be yourself, and don't be afraid to be yourself. That's one of the reasons why when Keon Coleman first came on, I liked the Keon Coleman because he was himself. He didn't try to be anybody else. So they asked James Cook from a player's perspective, well, not even from a player's perspective, but they asked him, how do you feel about the Chiefs game, whatever, and like the rest and all that.
Get your finger ready.
Yo, he
Get your finger
said,
ready.
F all that.
I was on the wrong one.
Basically, he was like, F all that, F the calls, F the refs, F all that. He said the game should never come down to calls and the referees. It should never come to that. If you do your part, it should never come to that.
Yeah.
Right? The other thing they said, who you think will win the Super Bowl? F the Super Bowl. No disrespect. I'm not there. I'm not in it. I don't care.
I love it.
Right? Like, to me, like, I love, like, as a player, I want you to have that mentality. Because, one, like I said, I want you to be a beast on the field, but off it, I want your mentality to be all or nothing. Right? And that's how he's answering. That's to me, when he answered the question, it's all or nothing. Like, I don't care about the Super Bowl. He might not even watch the Super Bowl because he's supposed to be there. And the fact that, now don't get me wrong, from a fan's perspective, I am a little pissed off about the calls that were made. But as my players, I don't need that. I don't need the Bills players to be pissed off because, like he said, if you go in and you take care of business, they could do all the type of flags you want to do.
Yeah.
It's not going to change the game. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you said that actually, because I did some intrinsic thinking.
Did you?
Yeah, I identify something about myself in my fandom.
Oh wow.
It's a weird fandom because I watched Thurman Thomas last Thursday on One Bills Live when I was in the gym, and That's the only reason I watch someone. It's on the TV. They hold me captive. Okay. But he goes into how he was supposed to do something at the AFC Championship game, and he was ready to make a speech, ready to do whatever his thing was. Because they lost, he couldn't do it, and he said it hurt. They couldn't sleep, and this, that, and third. And he said, "I'm a fan. I can't do." I'm like, I didn't feel none of that. Not because I'm not a fan. But I didn't feel bad for one player, and not saying just Josh or not even James, but a lot of people identify with one person, and that's something that I don't. Because see, the thing about it, the way I look at it is this: if Mac, you notice who's probably the all-time greatest R&B group of all time?
Ooh,
you might know, but I
all time. I'm gonna have to go with Jackson 5.
No, the other one.
Oh, the other one.
Yeah.
Oh. Back a little further.
Start with a T.
Temptation.
Back further. Yeah, the Temptations.
Temptations.
Okay.
Temptations is a group that everybody who knows anybody who loved anybody loved, right? Yes. Temptations. You know how many members they had in a group?
4.
Had 5 at one time.
Oh, okay.
27. 27 different members over a 70-year span for the Temptations. Now
that is right. Yeah.
Now this is where I'm going with this. The Temptations, after David Ruffin left, because ain't nobody come to see Otis, right?
Right.
It's just his group. Nobody comes to see Otis.
Nobody comes to see Otis.
They still have the record for the most Billboard Hot 100s and 14 R&B #1 singles. They still can't take away the fact that they're the first Motown group to win a Grammy for Cloud 9 in 69. Now, ain't nobody come to see you, Otis, David Ruffin. Guess what? I guess ain't nobody come to see Paul Williams, David Ruffin, Ollie Woodson, Dennis Edwards, Ron. The show must go on is what I'm getting at.
Right.
So when I go to the Bills game, I see that color. I mean, I'm not when James is gone. Yes, if it's next year or if it's 10 years from now, when he's gone, I'm gonna be the same way. Hopefully, still sitting in the same seat. Right. I mean, may have the LED lights, maybe some higher quality cameras. No disrespect, but that's how I am with it. And a lot of people identify with that one person. They get that jersey. That's why I don't wear a jersey. Yeah, because there's not one person. I'm like, oh. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just not wired that way. So when people talk about Josh, it was driving me freaking nuts. I'm like, the team lost.
But and you know what that saves you from, and I think that's pretty much where I'm at, because after a while, after the Marshawn Lynch's and the C.J. Spillers and the Stevie John, I eventually got to a point where I was just like, I can't afford as a fan to love one player because they're going to be gone. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So I had to get to a point where it was about team. It was about the red, white, and the blue and that charge in Buffalo. And what that saves you from, though, is it saves you from getting caught up in any one particular coach or player and just getting to a place where they can do no wrong. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Getting to a place where it don't matter if they win, if they lose, it don't matter. You just love them regardless of whatever happens. You know what I'm saying? And I think for where we are now as a team, it feels like, and there are signs that could potentially lead someone to believe that we're at a crossroads now where we are starting to understand that there is a level we cannot get to unless there is an outside force that creates some leverage in that direction. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I want to get to this first comment. Roy says, "What the heck? This is a Bill show. No intrinsic thinking allowed." Right?
But, it's all inclusive.
But let me ask you guys about this question here. My pop, Damaris Johnson TV says, Aramis's thought came up to me after our conversation this morning. He says, "Are the Bills ready? Are the Bills really as close to beating the Chiefs and winning a Super Bowl as they want fans to think?"
Oh, that's going to bleed into the rest of this show for me. So you guys have at it. So, I guarantee it's going to bleed right into the show.
We've been dancing around it.
I was going to save it. That's why I had you pull up that play A.
Okay. You want to get into it?
Yeah, go ahead. So listen. So for me,
set it up. What play is this?
The last play where Samaje P. Ryan got the first down.
Okay.
Now for me, part of me is like, the Chiefs is unbeatable in the playoffs, right? You can't beat them. I don't care who you are. You're not going to be able to beat the Chiefs. And also, a little part of me, not a whole lot, but a little part of me is the refs won't allow you to beat the Chiefs at home, right? They won't allow you to do it. So it got me thinking, like that point I just made about James Cook.
Wait. Can we say it this way? Because I think it becomes too debatable if you say the refs won't let you beat the Chiefs at home. Can we say the refs will not give you debatable calls in Kansas City? Like if it's a close call, it's
50,
most
50
likely
ball ain't
gonna
going, going our way.
Right.
Well, the reason why I say that is
Okay.
Go ahead and run the play.
Okay, sure.
Run the play.
Cue it up.
Let me know when to stop.
So hold on. I can't see.
Oh, you can't see it?
Now,
Reset
a
it?
little bit.
Yeah.
Now tell me what do you see? Tell me you see anything wrong.
Okay, so they got trips on the right side here. So it looks like a 4x1. Yeah, because they got tight ends on this side, 3 receivers. Oh no, I'm sorry, there is no tight end. So
That's 3
4
by 1.
Huh?
3 by 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now hit play for me.
Okay.
Should we? No, you can't.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
You see anything wrong?
Yes.
So part of my point is when I see things like that and there's nobody in the national media talking about it at all.
Wait, what did you
So
see?
wait,
What did you see?
so to be clear, the Chiefs lined up in trips right formation, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 of those receivers in trips motion over to
At
the
the
left
same
side
time.
at the same time.
That's illegal.
Only
One person can be in motion.
Ooh, that's a
No.
good point.
Yes.
No.
Oh no, not if
Pick
it's
it
an
up.
audible. Not,
no, you can have them.
Yeah,
they
so
can't.
if
Look it up. Look
if
it
they
up.
switch
am.
the play.
Look it up.
Okay, hold on. No, yeah, no, that's an audible, bro.
Yeah, they're
That's
allowed
an audible. So yeah, because they don't line up in trips again.
Yeah, you're allowed to shift to the other side. You can't make a move. You can't have 2 guys in motion at the same. So
Right,
basically,
so-
2 guys can't be trying to confuse the defense at the same time.
Right.
In essence.
Yeah. So those are technically not motions in this. And I get what you're saying that
Yeah.
because they're both shifting at the same time, it looks like motion. But the fact that they don't line up in trips after that, they line up in a whole different formation. It passes because it's technically now a different formation. It counts as an audible, not a motion.
Yeah, as long as they're set, they just can't
Yeah.
move at the snap. So
But when I first saw that, bro, I was
Right.
like, whoa,
Right.
wait a second.
So now the reason why I said that because after the game, I went back and I saw a lot of those plays. Right, I watched a lot of those plays, and I'm like, man. There's a lot of calls to me that favored the Chiefs. And again, like I said, I'm not saying that it's impossible to beat them, but I'm just saying it's super hard for you to beat them because in my mind, I don't think, and this is the NFL, wants the Chiefs to lose at least right now.
well,
So to me, it's hard for me to believe that even though if my team is as good or as beatable, better than them, they'll still find some type of way not to win the game.
to your point, now I like where you're going with this, but to your point, let's focus on Juwan Taylor. What does he do every time?
he lines up.
He leaves.
off.
He leaves early every time.
Yeah.
Now, why do I bring this into account? Because this is going to turn into the is it a travel basketball talk.
Right.
Because I watched the Senior Bowl. I didn't watch the game yet, but I watched the hell out of those practices. Though you know how I do. 4 hours a day, I was in there. But the thing is, everybody when they had Mike Green lineup, when they had Princely Umamalin or whoever lined up. They always left early because they were anticipating. See, they're teaching them now this is okay because Juwan Taylor's getting away with it. So it's sullying the game because of what they can do in the pros where they're going to. Not what you learn coming up to your point and to your point about tackling, to your point about, what's right and wrong and the fundamentals.
Right.
So they got to stop this. They got to nip this in the bud like now, especially at the Senior Bowl practice, East-West Shrine practice, even Combine, because they're going to be doing this all the time. And then what's the false start?
Right.
Do you think that this is something that won't be stopped until the Chiefs get beat, just in spite of it? You know what I mean? And the only reason I'm asking this is because it kind of seems like the Patriots got away with little, small stuff like this because just beat us. Like if it's really that big of a deal, then it shouldn't affect whether or not you can beat us. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
if it's that big of an advantage, it'll show in the game.
You know what I would do to combat that though? Because I saw Mike Green do this at the Senior Bowl practice. Dude left early. He bull rushed him, but he's so fast. He caught him He caught him between steps. Ended up on his butt. He looked stupid. It was to the point where they redid the drill. They redid the drill. They said, Mike, come back.
Because it looked at that bad.
Because they were talking about this on Locked On Scouting. They were talking about this. This was a rep of reps. This guy lost money based on that rep. Not Mike Green, but the guy that was trying to block him because he was trying to cheat.
Yeah.
You got to have fundamentals. And, if you're going to back up, I don't know if it's a matter of stopping it once they beat him. Yeah. It's a matter of him stopping it once he figures out he's not as good as he thinks he is.
Right.
It's a matter of him saying, you know what? He's not that good. When they start enforcing, because every year they enforce something new.
Right.
It's always penalties, pass interference is always holding. Because when they start enforcing false starts and illegal shifts, he's on a chopping block. Watch him lose a lot of money based on that.
Yeah. When
So to your pop's point,
Yep.
I feel like the Bills to me will always be at a disadvantage. Like I say, even if we think 53 by 53, roster for roster, they can battle, they can compete. If the answer is they're not light years ahead, I don't think they ever win.
Yeah, because there were a few teams that were equal in roster ability or roster talent to the Patriots in their heyday. You had the Colts, you had the Steelers, you had the Ravens. There were some teams out there that could really go head to head with the Patriots.
Yep.
But what always put the Patriots over the top was coaching. And it wasn't just good coaching and making good decisions. It was elite coaching and making elite decisions and having an elite understanding of those small detailed situations that tend to build up by the end of the game and matter more than any other decision, right? And that's the thing that I always talk about, with the Chiefs is Andy Reid went through this Sean McDermott process of getting to NFC championship games and one Super Bowl appearance and not winning. He did that in Philly. And he didn't get to that elite level until he was kicked out of Philly and had to go back to the drawing board and reinvent himself. So all of this is to say, Andy Reid has now reached that Bill Belichick level of elite, the way he thinks the game, the way he processes situation to situation in the game. He's reached an elite status that no other coach has reached right now. And that's the disparity between the Bills and the Chiefs. Roster for roster, the Bills, for the most part, can keep up. Like, let's be real for a second. The Bills are probably one of the slowest teams in the league. So
have you played Madden?
so speed wise, there's a huge disparity, and that's only going to get worse because Andy Reid he loves speed, right? That's one of the things that you cannot teach in this league, and so let's set speed aside. In most other ways, the Bills can match up, and they've shown that they can because we're freaking 4-1 against them in the regular season. We dominate the regular season matchups. Now, whether that's by design because they're not really trying or whatever, that's beside the point. We still dominate them in the regular season. Right. So what does that speak to? What that speaks to is a head coach and a coaching staff that is too afraid of making a mistake to be progressive and genuinely aggressive in a way that allows them to see. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I saw a video of Brett Favre telling Andy Reid in Green Bay, "I love you, man." And this was after a play that Andy Reid called, even though it wasn't even part of the game plan. He called it anyway just because he had a gut feeling, just like let's go with this, and it worked. You know what Mike Holmgren came over and said to him? Hey, who called that play? Andy Reid was like, that was on me. That was on me. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. He kept saying it was a mistake. Mike Holmgren said, that's now in the first 15.
Wow.
So Andy Reid learned early on there is a time to take chances. Mm-hmm. You just have to understand when that is, and you have to be willing and have the balls to do it.
Yeah, and two, you got to be willing to, if it don't work,
try it again.
Or hey, that's on me.
Right.
I called the decision. It didn't work.
Right. And that is where we need to get to. That is why we got to the title of this episode, which is this season, or what we heard in these press conferences, another easy button for Dermott? Because when you listen to what they talked about in the press conferences, both the GM and the head coach said it. They said on the last drive, well, this is verbatim what Sean said, right? On the last drive of the game, we came up short and we need to figure out why. That was like, once he said that, then he started, like, it was like he realized how bad what he said sounded, in terms of what it says about Josh and the offense. So then he also tried to qualify that and put himself out there too and say, I'm sorry, no. Before I get to that point, Sean compounded the initial statement of on the last drive we came up short and we need to figure out why. He compounded it with, when we have the ball and we're in a position to tie, we weren't able to get it done. That the perception of that statement is our offense and our best player has the ball and they didn't get it done. The perception of that is, hey, defense wasn't the last one with the ball. Defense wasn't the last one on the field that didn't get it done for us. That makes it seem like the blame is on Josh, right? So then this is where Sean gets to trying to qualify and not make it seem like he's putting Josh on blast. He says, now getting into the weeds on it defensively, we have to perform better than we did, and that's real. That's not enough when you're addressing what actually happened on defense. The play that we just showed that you wanted to look at is a prime example. Our defense still had 3 timeouts. One of the rare occasions on defense at the end of a game where we needed 3 timeouts and we actually had them.
Bulldog, they posed a question to the fans, to the callers, and basically they said, right now, no matter what the roster looks like, would you be on board? Would you be on board if they said the Bills' season is going to end the same way? AFC Championship, lose by 3. Would you take it? They said, I have to say yes, because they said, I will be a fool not to take that. Like, I don't want to be a wild card in and out. I don't want to not make the playoffs. I don't want to be, bounced out in the division round. Like, if I had to pick it, yeah, I would want to go to the AFC Championship. But I think the issue is you still get the same result.
And that's where I defer. If you told me before the season, all the fanfare, you guys are going to have no players, are going to be super slow on Madden, you guys are going to be super slow in the field, Matt Collins is going to lead you in certain games and receiving. But you guys are going to get 13-4 and go to the AFC. I'm like, so did we win? But no, you're 13. Did we win?
Exactly.
No? Then no, I just give me the wild card. It's the same. It hurts the same. Whether I die on Monday or I die on Friday, I'm still dying.
Exactly.
So it's the same.
That's what really pissed me off about hearing all of this stuff, because they're patting themselves on the back, and even Damaris was saying, like, when you listen to these press conferences, they're in the owner's suite or room or office, or whatever, in at the headquarters there, patting each other on the back. Hey, man, we had a great season, man. We wasn't even supposed to get this far. Dog, we wasn't supposed to get this far. We overachieved this. Oh, man, you better believe we overachieved. Like, they are so content with just being competitive every season. It's like, when we go back and we think about what Sean said when he first got hired, he wasn't talking about Super Bowls. What was he talking about? Being, what did he say? A perennial contender or something like that. Like, he wanted to be competitive every season. That's the mindset.
You just walk to the playoffs for the last 3 years.
Exactly.
The division is terrible.
Exactly. So when it comes to getting back into this press conference stuff,
Playoff caliber. Well, I said he said playoff caliber.
Exactly. Playoff caliber was what he was talking about. Okay, you got to the playoffs, then it became championship caliber. You never became championship caliber because you didn't get there. Unless you were talking about AFC Championship game, but you've done that two times out of 8 seasons.
Right.
So really, what are you chasing? What is the point of you being here? Right? There's a stat that exists, and this is very real. For a quarterback and a coach combination, if they do not win a Super Bowl in the first 5 years of them being together, it will not happen. It has not happened.
You know why?
In NFL history.
No, you know why I think it is?
Why?
After 5 years, your patootie is grass.
Right. Because if you can't do it with what we know is the second best by terms of achievement, the second best quarterback in the NFL, then who else are you going to do it with? You can't do it with Mahomes. You'll never become his head coach. So if you can't do it with the next best guy, who you going to do it with? That's the point. That's what we're looking at here. When we talk about making changes where it counts the most, Roy, you're 50% right. Because I saw what you said earlier when you were talking about the Bills lost this game. It wasn't on the refs. That is right. It wasn't mainly or primarily the refs that lost this game. Now, we did give them an opportunity to control some big-time situations. That is on us, though. We didn't have to run 5 tush pushes. We didn't have to call that in every situation where we needed 1 yard. We saw on 2 separate occasions the Buffalo Bills run a boot, and it worked.
Well, I mean, when your playbook is written on a Scotch tissue 1-ply, what do you think is going to happen?
And who's writing that? It definitely ain't Brady. We've seen what a Brady created offense looks like. It looks like the best offensive season by a quarterback in college football history in Joe Burrow. It looks like one of the greatest offenses to ever touch a college football field in college football history.
Well, you got to get Joe Brady those same kind of weapons too. That's the problem. Right. That's the problem. They hired Joe Brady because Joe Brady said what, and he said this: "Whatever you give me, I can make it work."
Right.
You don't say that.
Right.
It's not what, because you're not new. You elected to stay here.
Yep.
You did what in the last 7 games last year before the playoffs? You turned the team around from what Dorsey did. You don't say whatever. This is what I'm getting, or I'm scooting. Because some other team, I guarantee you, will give him a chance at a head coaching job. And you decide to stay here and take what they give you. I can't use that. And that's the team speak we have. As great as Josh Allen is, Josh Allen falls into that bucket as well. Whatever you give me, I'm going to take it and do what I can with it. I can't do that. I can't because the same way everybody wants to say we're losing his prime, he's losing his prime for himself.
Yep.
$258 million. You got a voice. You make way more than your coach and your GM combined.
That's a good point.
Double, triple time. Mm-hmm. But you sit there and say, you know what, we're good. Coach McDermott is doing a great. No, you tell me what you want. You ain't got to tell me, but you tell the people that be. You tell me this ain't cutting it. Why are you giving me MVS? He drops everything. Why are you giving me these deep threats? They don't work for me. That's not what I want to throw. Everybody says I got a strong arm, but I don't want to throw. The same way Lamar Jackson was a 4-3, but don't want to run. The same way Geno Smith wouldn't run. The same way these people know what their limitations are. I might have a strong arm, but I might not be that accurate, and he might know that.
Right.
We know that. We've seen the numbers. He's not accurate downfield. So why do you keep getting these guys that do what?
Yeah. Josh Allen, here's one of the other stats that I feel like is very damning, towards the Bills and where they stand now as a team, players, and coaching staff. Josh Allen has the highest expected points average per drive in games lost in NFL history. The highest. It's at 3. That means every drive that Josh Allen has the ball, you can expect to at least get a field goal. That's the highest in NFL history in games lost, right? In those same games, the defense is the worst in NFL history. Mm-hmm. The worst. In the Chiefs game, they gave up 4. 4 was the EPA. They were more likely to give up a touchdown to Mahomes in that game than anything else. I mean, heck, they only forced the Chiefs to punt once. Once. On a drive where kind of, there was still plenty of game left. It mattered because we were able to keep the lead at that point. But let's be real. When it mattered the most, what stops did the Bills defense get? When we needed to score and get a lead, who brought us down and got it done?
Offense has won all those games. Even the defensive stops have been offense. The best defense is offense. Usually the best offense is defense. No, the offense is all we got. And you can mask it however you want. You can blame DeMar. You can blame Rasul. You can blame Ed. You can blame Vaughn. You can blame Epinesa. I blame 2 or 3 of them myself. But guess what? When it all boils down to who put them there. And this right here, this in my mind, there's a fracture between McDermott and Bean. If you caught how they talked in different press conferences, McDermott said, I want this, and Bean said, I want that.
Exactly, bro.
I'm like, so what is it?
Exactly.
I thought y'all were one front. Yep. Which is it? Because I'm liking what McDermott's saying, but you ain't giving me what he's saying. Maybe he don't want it. Maybe he's trying to throw you under the bus. I don't know. But the point is, when you look at this thing, you heard we have honest. When they asked about Keon Coleman, we had an honest and straightforward conversation with him. He underachieved when? When did Keon underachieve? Did you see it?
After the injury.
Did he?
What was the expectation
watch
on the
this.
period?
No, watch this. You know what I did for you.
Okay, come on with it.
Okay. The first 8 games of the season.
Spreadsheet is real, bro. Jeez.
The first 8 games of the season, he had 34 catches, 4.2 catches a game. Targets, 4.2 targets a game. He had 2.6 receptions a game, 49.5 yards a game. Yards per reception, 18.26. I'm going to stop there so I can digest that. And I'm going to go to the last 9 through 17. 23. So he was down from 34 to 23 targets. He still averaged 4.6 receptions because he was hurt. He averaged a yard less, a reception less. He averaged 17 yards per game less. He averaged more yards per reception. He went down in touchdowns because he was hurt. He played in 5 games as opposed to the 8 in the first. Mm-hmm. Catch percentage went down. That took a dip, but we were going deep to him. Those are low percentage throws, as I said before.
That's true.
Josh, don't throw them. And I want to get to that. Just hold that. I don't want to preach here today. I really don't. But I feel something brewing.
Come on with it.
I feel it brewing. That's why I was like, oh, damn, I'm going to miss the show. I can't miss this one. So when I look at it, what did I do? I said, okay. What did McBean head say when they drafted Keon Coleman? He's our what?
He's our X.
He's our X. Let me point you to the NFL public records scouting report. Prospect grade, will eventually be an average starter.
Yep.
What are his weaknesses? Press coverage, can blanket his release and catch a ride. We saw that. Below average acceleration, getting out of breaks. What do we see? Evident by the fact he does no separation. Mm-hmm. Could struggle finding separation to avoid excessive contested catches. What do we see? All these contested catch attempts, right? Mm-hmm. Needs to play through downfield corners. What did we see in the last couple of games? He was getting walled off. Ball was not being caught. He can be more of a blocker. Where's your X? Everything they said here is what he did. All the stats that I'm hearing on all these podcasts, everybody's saying he took a dump in the second half. When? He hit a sophomore slump? No, he played against better cornerbacks that knew his game. They knew what the Bills did with him on that one-ply Scott tissue.
Yeah.
So don't blame Keon. Can I take this to Dalton Kincaid? 1 second. Can I just take it to Dalton? Because they also said to Dalton Kincaid, he didn't disappoint. They said he was kind of disappointed. He didn't do what we thought he was going to do. Can we take a look at what they asked him to do this year? Please. Let me just pull this up for a second.
Come on with it.
I don't want to preach today.
Keys
I'm not a preacher.
Boiling right now.
I'm not a preacher. But I'm telling you, Bean got me pissed. So last year, Dalton Kincaid was 22 of 30 when targeted between 0 and 9 yards. 73% receptions, right? They asked him to run downfield 20 plus 10 times, caught 2. So he dropped 8 of them or didn't reach 8. We talked about this in the previous show. Josh and Kincaid have no chemistry downfield. Right or wrong. We said that. Everything's been low, it's been off target. We gotta work on this. So what did Kincaid do last year? Kincaid in his rookie year, 7% of his targets were past 20 yards. 7 compared to 20 this year. Let's look what he did in college. What you want to gather? You want to gather what they had him do in college at Utah to make him a pro caliber best pass catcher? 61% of his receptions in his senior year at Utah were between 0 and 9 yards. So I wonder if the correlation maintains that the year he had in Buffalo last year was the same thing that he excelled at in college that made us draft him, made us trade up to draft him, only to change the game plan with him this year. So now he's a bust, right? Now he's a bust because he's not doing what we drafted him to do, what he did, what he proved he could do on anybody in the nation in college.
Yep.
But of course, the sheep. Kincaid sucks.
He needs to put on more weight. That's what they were saying in the press conference. He needs to beef up.
Yeah, because Bean said that he doesn't have the physicalness, doesn't have the physique of Dawson Knox.
Yeah, right.
Like, you didn't draft him to be Dawson Knox.
Exactly.
He's an anomaly. The dude runs faster than Kincaid. He's bigger than Kincaid. Yep. He can run better routes. He has a better chemistry with Josh.
Right.
But you go ahead and you trade up. But this is the guy that you guys trust to give 12 draft picks this year. You trust to go get that stud defensive end. You trust to go replace DeMar Hamlin. Yes, I'm going to say, I don't care if he's on the team next year. That's the goal, for him to be the backup, not the starter. I don't want Mike Edwards. I don't even want Taylor Rapp. I want bona fide safeties, not plug-and-play dudes because we're trying to tie ourselves and hold over, which is what they're shoving down our throats.
Yep.
They're telling you this is a great thing, but it's not.
We gonna press play on that one, bro.
We're gonna press all the way play on that. Fast forward it if you have to.
So to your point, I saw I wanted to bring this up. Pop says Keon's production or lack thereof is a result of curbing Josh and everybody eat offense. So what you've been alluding to this whole time is I made sure to put it in the chat because it's Fire Science Speaks. Welcome to the show. He says rookies can't shoulder the blame. We're actually not talking about the rookies themselves being an issue. We're talking about them being put in positions that they should never have been put in the first place, and expected to perform at levels that the positions they were put in wouldn't allow them to.
It's not their game.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's exactly what Damaris is talking about when he says this everybody eats offense is not conducive to players like Kincaid and Keon. Like, you need a scheme that allows those types of players to either get schemed open or to be in one-on-one positions, for especially for Keon, where he's not, pushed off to the sideline and fighting against two defenders at that point. Mm-hmm. So what we're really trying to get to is the issue is not anything else except perception.
100%.
The issue
100%.
is perception. And here's a strong indicator of how much attention Sean McDermott pays to perception. Watch game. Okay? So at 51, no. Let's see. So
Matt, did you watch the press conferences?
I heard some of the bits and pieces.
You ain't got 2 hours and 16 minutes to go to this BS. I understand. I get it 100%.
Yeah. So this is Brandon Beane talking about Dawson Knox, right? He says there are a lot of great things about Dawson Knox that people don't see. The reporter asked for an example, right?
My notes too.
Which I loved that he did it when he did it, because Beane was just trying to carry on and just move through the point.
Yeah.
Right. But he actually had to double back and think of some things, right? So then Beane is just like, he's a rock. People go to him. People believe in him. He's not the guy who gives speeches to the whole team, but he pulls players aside, blah, blah, blah. And then Beane says, he is what is good. Then he pauses for a minute. And then he says, the many good things about the Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
Why didn't he just finish his sentence and say he is what is good about the Buffalo Bills?
Because he forgot his line.
No. I would contend, and that's not a bad point. That's a good point. But I would contend that the reason he thought about it for a second and changed the ending of that sentence is because he didn't want everybody to think immediately after he finished his sentence that Dawson Knox was the vision for the team. That whatever Dawson Knox embodies is the complete vision for the team. He didn't want that to become the thing that media harps on and says, "Oh, this is what y'all looking for? Y'all want a bunch of Dawson Knoxes in the locker room, guys that block and don't have barely any production, but they're good guys. They're not vocal leaders, but they're silent, pull guys to the side leaders. This is the like it's the obsession over the perception of every minute detail that is said, so that it spins the perception in the Bills' favor, in the staff's favor, and this is carried on. When I talked to y'all last week in the show that I did, just me because the fellas couldn't make it, this is exactly what I was talking about. These are the types of things where he starts to say, and it's if Beane would have said that for what's going on. Again, are you?
Not seeing it yet.
Okay, here it is. Okay, all right. So the sentence, just the flat out sentence. If I was to say, Dawson Knox is what is good about the Buffalo Bills. Does that sound like an offensive statement? Does it sound like a bad statement? Not really. But when you read into it and when you understand that what they mean by that is that all of the missing this stuff. How are we missing this? We're letting it fly right over our heads because we're not paying attention to the details of what is actually said and what is omitted. This was an omission. He started to say one thing, thought about it, thought about how it might come across, and decided to say it a different way. Why? Because they want us to think a certain way about the team. They want us to see only the good things about the players. They don't want us to focus on what they don't do on the field or what they can't do on the field because of the scheme they have in place. Sean McDermott doesn't want us focusing on what Joe Brady can really do with an offense. They want us focusing on how many interceptions Josh Allen did not throw this season. That's what they want. They don't want us focusing on the fact that no receiver had more than 1,000 yards. No receiver had more than 6 touchdowns. They want us focusing on, well, everybody ate. It was a diverse offense. They like all of this everybody eats stuff completely overtook everything we lost on defense. Completely. One of the worst defensive outputs this season. June, get the camera fixed. Worst defensive output that we've seen. And that gets overblown by all of the wonderful offensive production. Okay, look. Let's be real about one thing. Right? He gets fired from the Browns, and now I think it was the Raiders were thinking about giving him a look. But Pete Carroll's there now. That ain't happening. Right? What did Josh do with Ken Dorsey as an offensive coordinator? Well, the following season after Daboll left, they had better statistic numbers on offense. That wasn't because of Dorsey. That was because Josh had more of a say in the offense. That's the whole reason Josh wanted Dorsey in the first place, was to have more say in the offense. Josh was used to having the buffer of Daboll between him and Sean. Daboll was the only reason that this offense was not boxed in. Daboll had a leg to stand on when it came to experience, expertise, and juice in the league. You wasn't going to walk up and tell Daboll, you got to switch the offense, my man. This ain't working. What? That actually happened. That's the whole reason they was arguing. Like, let's bring this out again. The whole reason that there was a beef between Sean and Daboll was because Daboll refused to run like Sean wanted to run. 13 seconds was the closest the Buffalo Bills have ever gotten to beating the Chiefs at Kansas City in the playoffs. Correct? We had the lead. There was 13 seconds left in the game. All we had to do was squib kick, cover, and play defense for one play. That's all there would have been time for. We didn't get it done then. Since that point, our offense has not been able to replicate what we did in 13 seconds, going down and scoring on their defense with our last possession when it counts the most. Since Daboll left, we've been running more of what Sean wants to run. How do we not see the transition happening from Daboll, closest we've ever been to beating the Chiefs in the playoffs, to now doing more of what Sean wants to do on offense, and now 2 years in a row, we haven't been able to just march down and get the job done on offense because the offensive coordinator, whoever he is, isn't as good as Daboll or isn't allowed to be as good as Daboll. And then conversely, the defense has had worse and worse output every single season since Daboll's left. Like, go look it up. Go look it up. This is not made up stuff.
I mean, the craziest part about all this for me, in regards to the offense. Everybody, they jump on the cliches. Even Sean McDermott kind of made fun of the everybody's motto. I don't know if you caught that in the press conference. He said he has a hat on his desk and everything. I don't know what that's all about. That ain't me. But he said, but the thing that gets lost on this is, when you're talking about complementary football, it can work. Complementary football absolutely 100% can work if you have what you have in Buffalo on offense. Now, where's the rest of the complement? The defense, which hangs our offense out to dry all the time. Every time when it matters the most, they're nowhere to be found. Everybody wants to point to Diggs, point to Sherfield, No. Where was your defense? Where's your scheme? Where's your aggressiveness? Where's your creativity? Because everybody talks about how McDermott is a defensive mastermind, but Spagnuolo, as Cam Newton broke it down. I don't know if you heard it, but Cam Newton, he drove me nuts when he said that Mahomes is just the MJ of NFL right now. It can't be true. It can't be. I can't let that.
Yeah.
I can't let that.
I can't accept it.
That's what I'm saying. I can't let that. It gets on my skin because Patrick Mahomes cannot own my city. He can't. He can't own our team.
Right.
To heck with the league. He dominates 30 other teams, but not us. And that's the thing. Not us. Why?
Right.
When Jordan played, who was the second best player in the NBA?
Second best player in the NBA, man. That's the first three-peat or the second three-peat?
See what you just said?
The first three-peat or the second three-peat?
But this is the case. No, this is where I wanted to get to because I don't need you guys to spend a lot of time thinking about it. I actually Googled this. I Googled that exact question.
Okay.
It returned to me in the AI, so I had to go through. It said, not sure if there was a definite behind MJ. But guys like Malone, Barkley, Akeem, Robinson, Ewing, throw in some guys like Stockton, Peyton, Reggie, big name forwards like Clyde, Pippen. A lot of great players. Josh is not just a lot of great players. Josh is not to be smushed into a ball of used up gum.
Exactly.
That Mahomes chewed up.
Yep.
Like I said, I'm not here to say Josh is the GOAT. But what I'm saying is it's our team. People say, Key, just wait till Mahomes is done. Josh is the same age. He's the same age. Why can't we do it? Why can't we not go get Mac Hollins? I mean, I do like Mac. But why can we not go get, those kind of guys? Why can't we go get these players that are out there? Why can't we draft? Why can't we use a little brain power? But Buffalo gets caught up in names. Myles Garrett today released. You know what I saw? Buffalo, go get him. For what? For what? It'd be cool if you did, but for what? The money, the age. You can't go find somebody in college.
Right.
You can't develop. I thought you were a defensive mastermind.
That's why you do it. You do it. You make that trade because you've shown you can't find that guy in college.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, so you can't be both. You can't be this savvy GM, savvy developmental coach when you can't get nobody to do it.
But you know what's funny about that? The guy we're talking about that fits what the Bills want but still plays like Myles Garrett doesn't exist. That guy doesn't exist because essentially what Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane are looking for is they're looking for a Dawson Knox who doesn't care about stats, doesn't care about, all he wants to do is come to work and help the team win every day. You know why he thinks that way? Because he's a 4th round pick. Mm-hmm. That's why he thinks that way.
That didn't catch one touchdown in college.
Right. You know why Christian Benford doesn't really care where he plays or what he's asked to do? Because he's a 6th round pick. Yeah. Sean McDermott wants all these guys that are willing to come in, sit down, shut up, and be told what to do and not have an opinion whatsoever about what's going on with the team or why are we doing this? Why don't we try this? Why aren't we trying this? Sean don't want nobody thinking for themselves. He wants everybody that comes onto this team and wears a jersey to be docile, to be malleable, and to shut up. Myles Garrett ain't shutting up. He asked for a trade.
Yeah.
That tells you right there he's not Bill's material. Oh, he asked for a trade. Why does he want to trade? Why isn't he just happy staying in Cleveland and going from Cleveland to Canton? Why isn't he taking one for the team? That's not what it's about for these great players. Players of Myles Garrett's status, players of a Khalil Mack in his prime, they don't want to come and deal with this. They don't want to deal with this culture. Mm-hmm. The culture for players is the problem. Mm-hmm. This culture is not conducive to bringing in great players. That's why you get an Amari Cooper past his prime. And you trade for a guy like that because his cap hit is one of the lowest of anybody you could possibly trade for this season. That's why you get a guy like that who's got very limited speed at 31 years old. That's why you bring in all these older, used up dudes. That's why the second I heard Khalil Mack was about to be a free agent, I'm like, oh, hell no.
People don't even know where he's from. Like, bring him home. He's not from here. He's from Florida. Chill. He's not here with the UB for 4 years.
Right.
He ain't from here. This is not home for him.
Exactly.
You know, and to double down to your point, what did Bean say? And like I said, this is you. I'm not even gonna try to shade stuff on McDermott off me, but Bean really pissed me off today. This is the day when he said he referenced how he would love to have a Chris Jones, but you don't have to cap and pick where you pick. Newsflash: where was Chris Jones at? Anybody in the chat? Please tell me what round he was drafted in. Chris Jones, hurry up. Second.
Yep.
Second round. That means 32 teams passed on him.
We drafted somebody. We actually passed on him to draft somebody, didn't we?
Yeah.
We had a chance to get him twice, and we passed up.
2017. Who was it? Who was our Tre'Davious White?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
Who was the second round pick that year?
not here. Hold on a second.
Was
Look
it
at
Cody Ford?
Zay Jones.
Huh?
Wasn't it Zay Jones?
Zay Jones. Zay Jones.
They
And
chose
Cody
Zay
Ford.
Jones over Chris Jones. Now I get it.
Whether
It took Chris Jones like 3 years to get to this point.
yeah, but I mean, come on. I mean, even if he wouldn't have became this, we wouldn't have to worry about Vernon Davis or Vernon Butlers and Quentin Jeffersons. We wouldn't have to worry about bringing Elianku, my favorite boy,
Right.
back and forth on the team. You know, it's the little stuff like that. And what Bean said, we would love to have a blue chipper, but he's got to be a character guy too. Bam.
Huh?
Bam.
So real quick, I'm sorry. Bills Mafia North is saying the biggest hypocrisy is when people claim that Bean wouldn't sign guys for the culture and that bad guys are exempt from the team. Guys, Tyrell Dodson was an undrafted and kept after he beat his girlfriend.
What?
So apparently because Tyrell Dodson beat his girlfriend and was still allowed to be on the team, that basically spits in the face of our point about how. Okay, so here's the misconception. Here's the misconception. When we talk about guys that don't fit the culture, we're not talking about guys who beat their girlfriends. We're not talking about guys who back up into people at in front of nightclubs. We're not talking about guys who drag race. Those are not the players we're talking about. We're talking about guys like Stephon Diggs who speak up. We're talking about guys like Shady McCoy who, when Sean pulls him into there, like, go and watch the facility episode when Shady talked about this. Shady specifically told us the story live on the show that he was called into Sean McDermott's office and asked why he wasn't performing the past season like he did the season before when he had like 1,700 yards. Excuse me, had like 1,700 yards and a bunch of touchdowns and had a great season for the Bills. And Shady had to tell Sean to his face, look at who I'm playing behind. You got these doo-doo offensive linemen in front of me, but you want me to put up the same numbers? It ain't as easy as it was the year before when I had better offensive linemen. That's the point. Sean doesn't want those kind of dudes that's willing to speak up for themselves because they got some juice in this league because they're that damn good. Those are the players that Sean don't want.
I'll say it. This is his. Oh, go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
So one thing I want to say though for the fans, like just because we disagree, it don't mean that you're wrong. Like I want to put that out there. Like, don't make it seem like the fans are wrong for having the opinions that they have. They're not. They just don't follow what y'all talking about. Right. So it's okay. Like, you can have your own opinion. It's cool, but I don't know. I just don't like don't just say like they're wrong because they don't agree what we're saying.
No, I get what you're saying. But I think the reason I said misconception is because the understanding of what we were saying.
Wait. He said I wasn't talking about that point. I was referring to people saying that Bean is immune to signing questionable guys.
Well, but that's still because we've said that before, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, anybody who's saying that, Sean, as you put it here, Bean is immune to signing questionable guys. That's the thought process behind it. It doesn't have anything to do with these guys' criminal record.
Yeah, I think the easy way to put this is when we say character, we're not talking about off field because I've said it a million times before. As I don't care about you personally, respectfully, not you, Mafia, but the team. That's like an employee saying I really have a stake in my employers. They're vice versa. Mm-hmm. I don't care about your personal if it doesn't bleed over to here. See, Von Miller's in there singing Brooks and Dunn, but he does what you just said Tyrell Dodson did. I mean, off the field, I can tell you, half the guys you guys cheer for and want their autographs, if you knew them like I met some of them, you would burn it in their face. I guarantee you. So when there's a divide here like that, and that's kind of why I opened the show with the fan I am, because I don't have a situation where I don't like you because of how you are off the field. I like you for what you do on the field for the team.
Right.
But once you're off that field, like Marshawn Lynch once told me, it's different, man. I don't even want to be a football. He told me to my face in his third year, I don't want to be would have been no beast mode. Would have been no stiff arm from what was it? The stiff arm from whatever.
The beast quake?
Yeah, the beast would have been none of that if he would have listened and did what he wanted to do. But instead, he stayed with it. Guys, they're not what you think they are. And to make them idols, I'm sitting here with two religious guys. To make these guys idols, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's the initial problem. Yeah. Yeah. Outside looking in says Bean is immune to finding talent and controlling the cap.
That's true. That I agree with.
Yeah, controlling the cap is a big deal. But again, this goes back to the point, and I just want to make sure we drive this home, because the idea of what's plaguing the Bills right now when we talk about the culture being the problem is the Bills are allowing culture to supersede all of the different options that they have available to them that can help them win. When you box yourself into, we are going to find this specific player with these specific traits that is willing to come in and do these three specific things, and no more, no less, you're eliminating all the multitude of possibilities that exist out there. Most of the teams that are successful in the league go out and find players with talent, and then say at the beginning of the season, just like the Bills say, okay, this is a different team from last year. What do we have? What can we do with these guys? Okay, well, the guys we have this year, we might have to run more man than we ran last year because our guys are better at man. Okay, let's dial some stuff up that allow these guys to be great at man. Did we do that?
Nope.
No, we decided to run more man coverage with guys who can't play man.
Play man.
Like, Rasul Douglas is not a man player.
Your set down corner on the other side is not a man player.
So I mean, and this was the part that killed me in the Chiefs game. The safety that you drafted that's supposed to be great at man coverage was barely playing man coverage. You had DeMar Hamlin covering Travis Kelce half the time. And for any one of you that want to sit here and say, well, Travis Kelce didn't do anything, they did not scheme it up for Travis Kelce. They intended to beat you with the outside receivers because they knew that they could beat you with the speed. They knew what you were going to try to do. You're going to try to muddy it up in the middle and make sure you had eyes on Kelce. So, okay, fine. You can have that.
Hey, that's what I wanted.
Right. You stay in the middle. I'm going to destroy you on the outside. That's what they did.
Yeah.
Go
ahead. I'm sorry. I like what Roy said, though. He said it sounds like you wanted McDermott to sign the extension.
Oh, I do. No, not at all. But yeah, so just to be clear before we move on from this point, the idea of the culture eliminates those players that are coming out of the draft that are good enough to speak on where they want to go or speak on how they believe they should be used. The culture precludes players coming from other teams that are good enough to walk in the door and have some juice to say, okay, this is what I do best. Put me in the best position to be successful. Now, that's not to say that these guys don't want to come onto our team and be a team player, but that means that Sean doesn't want any outside voices influencing his players against what he's trying to instill as the culture. When Diggs was there, because of the juice that Diggs had and the support that Diggs had from his peers, the players, it was very difficult for Sean to drive his point home in terms of what the culture was supposed to do with this team. Right? Mm-hmm. And it just so happened the serendipitous 2024 season where Diggs goes and gets hurt, and all of the good teams that you expected to be good in 2024 ended up being bad. And all of the other teams that were bad the previous season that became good weren't good enough to get in your way. You were able to march right through the AFC to an AFC championship game. That's really what happened. We didn't beat the best of the best of the best to get to where we were.
Right.
The Ravens blew it.
Yeah. Yep.
And we beat a rookie quarterback in the playoffs. Like, that's really what happened. And then we get to an actual contender in the playoffs, and we act like we don't know how to play against this team. When we beat them every time in the regular season. What we did in week 11, we did none of in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah. And that's the thing I had to tell my son today. He gets the guy, Dad. I'm like, what? He's like, I roasted this kid in school. I said, what you do? What happened? He's like, he's a Chiefs fan. I said, okay. Uh-oh. He's like, I told him the Chiefs suck. I'm like, no, you can't do that. You can't. He's like, why? I said, because everybody knows you're a Bills fan. Well, you align with the Bills. You don't watch nothing. But he's like, but I can still say, I said, can't. They just beat us to go to the championship game. And they always do. He's like, but we beat them early. Can't we beat them all the time in regular season? He's starting to cry, and I'm like, dude, welcome to being a Bills fan. I'm like, every time it matters, we don't win. But we win when it doesn't matter. Like Max said, back on it. He said, I want to lose so we can win. I don't even know we would still win. I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's the hard fact about it. I like to ride side with my brother right here, but I don't know. I mean, my thing is this. So everybody that says, I think I heard on the radio, Steve Tasker, and they were talking about it earlier. And Mac, if you have any thoughts, please. But they said, I don't think Buffalo has an issue getting players now. I think this is a destination for free agents. Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. This would be the first thing I'd say to Bean and McDermott. Convince me to come to your team. Please don't use Josh Allen because I can go to Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes. What does your offense do for me? How do I get mine? Because you got everybody eat. I don't want anybody. I want to eat. Because that's what these star players say. I want to eat. I'm David Ruffin. Never mind the 26 of the Temptations that were here. It's me. It's about me, baby. How am I going to get off? How do I get my 30 mil a season?
Yep.
What did they say? We got Josh. Damn, Josh. I don't want to hear that. Mm-hmm. What else you got? Let me see. Get on the whiteboard. Let me see what I'm going to be doing. Let me visualize. Let me conceptualize. But see, the thing is, think about this team trying to pitch something to Deion Sanders. Think about that. How long would that meeting even last? If this team tried to say, Deion, come here, I want to show you something. He's like, okay, do it. That's boring as hell. I'm out of here.
Right.
Easy. Just the same guy that told everybody when he got drafted, what pick you got, 10th? I'm not going to that meeting. I won't be around for you. That's what we're talking about, Mafia, that we're trying to get away from. That's the kind of mentality, personality that the Bills won't get because they don't know how to combat that. They don't know how to entice that. Yep. But those are the players, Jamar Chase, all those guys out there who have said something, T. Higgins, who have voiced of opposition to their teams in previous years. Yep. Those are the players that will not going to until they're washed up. Von Miller. He wouldn't come here 10 years ago. No. He'd be like, up your nose with a rubber hose. I'm not going there. But because I'm 35, you offer me $120 million. Nobody's offering me that. I'm going to get on your jet and tell you no. I'm not going to tell you no. I'm just going to tell the Bills fans I was going to say no. But the culture here, you know what else? Did you hear what Vaughn said, Mac? Vaughn said, he said something special about this locker room. It's something about this locker room I didn't have in other 2 Super Bowl locker rooms. He said in the 2 Super Bowl locker rooms. That's a point. Nugget, ain't it? I see stuff in this locker room. I ain't seeing my 2 Super Bowl championship locker rooms. Message that went over people's ears. Yeah. Went right over their heads. Oh man, this locker room spell. They love each other. James Cook, I love you. They zoom in. It's like showing them, say, put the mics on them when they get the touchdowns. What do you always hear? I love you, James.
But what did you win though?
What does love get you? What love got to do with it?
Right. Who cares about this stuff? Like this is the point though right here. This is the point though right here. And thank you, Tommy, for bringing this up. He says, I've asked the McDermott fan club one question, and that is how much longer do we need to keep McDermott as head coach if he doesn't get to a Super Bowl? They simply can't answer the question. I think the point of the question is to ask, and I've commented on other people's stuff on Twitter, and I've said this every single time people say there's always next year. Give him another chance. Give him another chance. He's got to an AFC Championship game. Okay, how long do we keep playing that game for? How many more years? What's the cutoff point? If you can't answer that question, you're part of the problem.
I just want to say, call it what it is. If you like McDermott, cool. But at this point in time, the way things are shaking out, you're not going to get to the end result. You're just going to have a good time. Like you said, like Max said, it's fun. We have lowered expectations to some degree. Yeah, but some people can't reconcile that.
Exactly. And I think the lowered expectations, as I've tried to point out in this episode, is by design. It's by design. It is marketed to us in such a sleek and stylish fashion that it seeps into our subconscious before we even realize that it's happened. In the episode this past week on Tuesday, I talked about what marketing does. It's designed linguistically. It's designed to program the brain to think a certain way about the product. That's what happens. And so for anybody who is in agreement with what Bean and Sean are talking about, it's by design. It's not because it's your personal perspective. It's not even because it's your lifestyle perspective or whatever. It's by design. This is a product we're consuming on a regular basis. You're paying money for this stuff. And yeah, it might be fun, but if again, this is another reason why in a different episode I mentioned the contingent of fans who are just here for the fun. If you're just here for the fun, then just say that. Yeah. But don't start trying to hop into the debate about, oh, you just got to cut him a break and I'll give him some time. No, you actually don't care about how long he's in office. You don't care about winning a Super Bowl. You care about having fun and getting regular season wins. That's what you care about. Stick to that. You don't have to jump into this debate. You can stay out of it. And let those people who actually have some foundational basis other than what Bean and Sean have said to them come in and have the discussion with us. Because at the end of the day, the pass or fail essence of this conversation is, have you done enough to win a Super Bowl? You haven't. The statistics say if you don't do it with your quarterback in the first 5 years, in NFL history, it's never happened after 5 years, right? People always want to talk about the Peyton Manning example, right? We actually mentioned that on this show too. Peyton Manning didn't start off with Tony Dungy as his head coach, but it wasn't until Tony Dungy came in that he won a Super Bowl in his 10th year. So even then, Peyton Manning, one of the greatest of all time, had to go to another head coach to get his ring. Everything about the history of this situation, everything about any information that we can draw to give us any realistic perspective on the situation all points to we are past the expiration date for this head coach or whatever this culture is. Either, and I think Demir said this earlier, either the coach has to choose to change the culture in the building or change his focus in how they choose players and how they build teams and how they build schemes, or the coach needs to change. I'm fine. Listen to me when I say this, people. I am fine if Sean McDermott stays and changes his tactics. I'm fine with that.
That's what I've been praying for. That's all I've been praying for.
It's one of the reasons why I gave Sean a little bit of respect this season when we beat the Lions, when we beat the Chiefs the way that we did. He did it a different way. And if that's the guy that I can get in the playoffs, well, now I think I can watch that. I think I can back that. I think I could even eventually, think about getting to a Super Bowl and then maybe getting with my boy Rich and saying McDermott for Prez. I'm so serious. Bruh, I'm so serious when I say that. If Sean would just change his tactics, the person is not the problem. The tactics are the problem.
And the thing that he said, and he got cornered into it. I don't know if Mac, you heard this in the presser, but somebody asked him, if 2017 Sean McDermott, would you believe that 2024 McDermott was president? He's like, he laughed it off, and then like no questions came. He's like, no, I would have never said I was going to be this guy. So in his way, he is growing, and we have seen specs. So I'll give him grace there. But I got to see the next step now. What we need to do at this point in time is to break away the McBean. At this point, you got to break away McBean. We need a real GM or get rid of McDermott because you ever been in a classroom where the two kids, they might be real good, but they talk too damn much. All they do is talk. They talk. You separate them and they do better, right? Sometimes you got to separate them. Whichever head you want to take. Whichever one, but you can't have both because I think the maturity of this union has lapsed. Matt, what do you think?
So I don't know. A lot of y'all points I don't personally agree with. Well, I just kept my mouth closed because I didn't want to turn it into a heated debate. But a lot of the points, like I don't agree with what. But what I do say is this: if you do get rid of Big Bean or you get rid of McDermott, again, to me, the problem is still going to be the same issue. So whether we get a new coach, a new GM, we're still going to have the same issue.
What's the same issue?
Not getting elite players on the Buffalo Bills squad.
Well, okay, let me preface this. The reason why I say get rid of Bean, why I preface it that way is because I think somebody that's not McDermott's friend will come in with a different mentality, like you said, to not get the elite players because McDermott's his friend and he don't want those players per se.
So another thing, like I don't think that's how it is. Like I don't think McDermott has any pull in the offense whatsoever. He's a defensive coach. He handles the defense. He doesn't call plays.
Well, no, offense is fine. I'm talking about defense.
I'm just talking about, but just in general, like I don't think the offense runs around Sean McDermott. He's a defensive head coach. He does the defense. Like Brady handles the offense. So from my perspective, like I said, from in the whole McDermott era, the offense was never an issue. To me, the only issue that the Bills have is on defense, and it's because of the lack of players that we have on defense.
So, to that point, who would you credit more with the lack of talent? Would you say it's just bad
So for
luck,
me,
or?
that would have to be that. It definitely falls on Bean.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely falls on Bean. So like, I don't know if they're going to do this, but there are 5 candidates that they can cut to save money, but it's got to be a post June cut. So in the grand scheme of things, we know the issue is defense. So if they get rid of all these players, which honestly, bye, Von, honestly,
Paid a 17, so you're talking about night, but you're in a deficit already. So I want people to understand when they say we can free up all this money. No, it don't work that way. But to your point, if you want to start the slow bleed, yeah, of course you're going to get rid of. But see, in my mind, I posed this on Twitter. I said, okay, would you rather have a $23 million Von Miller as a mentor to Solomon, which we've seen, and another Solomon? Or would you rather have no Von, a $17 million dead cap, and have Solomon and player X? Damage. In my mind, I'm thinking Von Miller is the heir apparent to Micah Hyde. He's already here, at least for another year.
Yeah, so you don't mind paying him that $20 million just to be a mentor?
I mean, it's $17 million if he's not. So that's the hurt piece.
Yeah.
That's what kills me about it. They painted himself right into that corner.
The point about us picking the players, I get the perspective. I would say this: if you're gonna fire the head coach, the GM's got to go too. So essentially, you would clean house. If for some reason they kept Bean, then I think I would have the same concern as what you had. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we still have a 50% chance of picking the same players and building the same kind of team with the same kind of mindset, right? Because ideally, at that point, you would have to hear from ownership that the GM needs to pick players differently. But we don't know that Bean would be willing to do that because that might be out of his comfort zone. So I'm assuming when I say, if Sean is not going to, make changes, then Sean needs to be the one changed. I'm also assuming that Bean leaves too. And I think at that point, that would mean that the way we find players, the players we sign and all that kind of stuff, would change all at the same time. I really apologize for these video issues we've been having. I'm just gonna get a new system before next episode and make sure that that's all set. In terms of where we are now, though, and it just cut out again. Are you kidding? All right, we back on? Yeah, Rich, you need to come look at this, man. You need to. I'll text you. You need to come look at this. And for those of y'all that don't know, my man Mike Rich, he's my IT guy. It's my tech dude. Not mine personally. We boys though. Yeah, but he does great work, amazing work. He's built 2 computers for me. He does amazing work, man. Mafia says, Tommy says, Aramis pull up Marty Schottenheimer coaching record with the Chiefs. Look how many winning seasons. Do we really want to go down the same path with McDermott? You want to pull it up real quick, bro?
Yeah.
Marty playing Marty ball. Steve says, did you like Whaley and Manos? I did.
Me too.
I did. Whaley didn't pick EJ Manuel, so I'm I'm fine with that. Right. I liked a lot of the players that he picked. Some of my favorite dudes, and they were dudes. You know what I mean? Even the Aaron Williams pick of he came in as a corner, a little too slow and not agile enough to play corner, but he moved to safety and became one of the best safeties we've had. So, there were a lot of good dudes that he picked, and Marshawn Lynch was one of them.
Yeah,
so
I think to that point, Willie, Mac, tell me if I'm wrong. I think Willie's his big thing was he didn't have a vision for himself. He said, "Whatever you want, I'm gonna get that for you."
Yep.
Yeah. The problem with Whaley is he got great players, but whether it amount to nothing. We never went to the AFC Championship. Let alone been to the playoffs.
Well, we also didn't have a head coach, that was worth anything at the time, and we didn't have a quarterback either. Imagine the team with Fitz and Stevie and David Nelson, Donald Jones. Imagine that team with Josh Allen. It's not too dissimilar from what we have this season, is it? It's not. It's really not. Imagine Josh Allen being on the team that JP Lossman had, where you had Eric Moulds and Peerless Price. Imagine Josh Allen being on that squad. Like, that's better than anything we've seen, including Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. Like, Josh Allen having those 2 receivers, you know what I'm saying? And then having Travis Henry on top of that? Like, man, listen. So, I think if we could just get back to picking those type of players and bringing them here. Those were hard-nosed, physical, mean dudes that when they stepped on the field, when you stepped on the field, you better be ready to get punched in the mouth. They didn't have a quarterback, so that's all they had. All they could do was punch you in the mouth. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But man, you give those boys a quarterback, and we having a whole different conversation. That's what's so frustrating about where we are now, is that this team is the opposite of what we had in the drought. It's the opposite. We now have a quarterback, but we don't have everything else.
See, I tell me this. Kevin said Whaley's player archetype is AFC North. Being and McDermott was Carolina players.
Yeah. And that's where Whaley came from. He came from the Steelers. Yeah. He was picking those types of dudes, and that matters. Mm-hmm. That matters.
What numbers did you want from Tommy? What Tommy was asking?
What was his record?
So all time, 61% win percentage in the regular season. He had a record of 200 to 126 losses and 1 tie. Playoffs, he was 5-13, 27%.
5-13. That's terrible.
5-13 is terrible.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I mean,
Especially when you come
Bills
from
are
61% in the regular season. That's horrible.
Bills are 5-6 in the playoffs right now. Losing record.
They got to be more than that. We played, that's what, our 12th game or 13th game?
Well, we definitely didn't win more than we lost. So if it's 13, that's 5-8.
So we won 7.
7? Won 7?
We won 7. If counting this year, we won 7. So it's got to be 7-6.
7-6.
Coming close, yeah.
I mean, okay. It's
the lever scale. We got to do so. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Because we only lost 2 games in the whole McDermott era in the playoffs. And that was to the Chiefs and the Bengals. We've never lost at home in the playoffs.
Yeah, I remember I ran the numbers on that, so you are right.
Yep.
Yeah.
okay. Yep. All right, fair enough. I stand corrected.
So my question is, this is a question I have. Do you guys think that the fandom that we're talking about, the Bills fandom, is a product of the other team our owner owns? The other team that the Bills fans pay attention to. Now listen to what I'm saying. You watch the Sabres.
Yep.
The Sabres play at the Key Bank, HSBC, whatever you want to call it this week. Now let me explain something to you. This is where I'm going to go. First and foremost, Pagula bought the team in 2011. The Sabres. They had Darcy Regier as their GM. Tim Murray after that. Jason Botterill. Kevin Adams. Now, under Darcy Regier, they had 1 Stanley Cup Finals appearance in '99, President's Trophy in 2006-7 season, 1 conference title, 2 division titles, 8 playoff appearances. Now, Pagula bought the team after all this happened. Listen to the coaches. We had Ted Nolan from 96 to 2015. So Pagula was he bought the team when Nolan was a sitting coach. Dan Bilesma, 2 seasons. Phil Housley, 2 seasons. Ralph Kruger, 2 seasons. Don Granato, 3.5 seasons. Lindy Ruff, whatever the case he is, was it season 2 for him? Mm-hmm. The fans are scared, man. They don't want to keep going through this cycle. I get it, and I hear you. So this is why the fans that don't want McDermott and Bean to go,
they don't want to go through the roller coaster.
They don't want this twice. Yeah. They want at least one team to say, you know what, we going play in February.
You know what? That's a great point, bro.
So I get it, and I don't want people that say these guys. No, it's not that. I'm not talking to you. I'm not trying to take your fandom. Watch the show. Talk with us. Dialogue with us. But Moxie, this isn't to you. We're not wrong. You're not wrong. But we all have different opinions. We have different perceptions, different views, different passions about this team and what we're talking about. So when you're a Sabres fan, I'm looking at Punch Imlock, 1970 to 1978, and they only have 9 GMs from 1970 to now. Coaching, they only had, from 1990, they've had 9 coaches from 1990 to now. And guess when all the coaches got accumulated? Between 2015 and now, when Terry Pagula was the owner.
So that 9-year period, they had 9 coaches in 9 years.
Basically.
And this is the guy that bought the Bills. And this is the guy that the Bills fans are trusting to give them the right information. So it's not just Bean. We can squabble over Bean. We can squabble, but they're a product of up here.
Hence why, that's what I'm saying. Let's say we get rid of them. I think we're still in the same situation. We're still talking about the same things. See, why we can't get it done in the AFC Championship.
When you say it like that, I can digest that. Yeah. When you say it like, I can digest it because it makes sense. It's just like when you don't peel the layers back, it's so obvious. Mm-hmm. The draft this is the draft. This is the players we get. But I watched the Senior Bowl and I'm like, man, these dudes are 2nd, 3rd round players. There's a bunch of talent in the Senior Bowl. Mike Tomlin was talking to Mike Green. They showed him on camera, the number 4 ranked pass edge rusher in the draft. Mike Tomlin standing next to him, talking to him while he's not in drills, telling him different stuff. And I'm like, I wish that was us. They also they alluded to. I don't want to cut you. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Go
but
ahead.
They also alluded to the fact that they were doing linebacker drills. Look, you'll love this. They said, now this is a guy that he flies all over the field. This is a guy that's high energy. This is the kind of guy the Buffalo Bills want. He said, but there are other teams that want the bruisers, the stack and shed linebackers, the physical guys. The other team. So we're typecast as a team that wants the soft dudes.
Yep.
If you just happen upon a Dorian Williams, cool. But that's not what they want.
The high motor Rudy style guy.
The Rudy style guys. A whole bunch of Rudigers.
I really love this point from Joseph. He says, "Not a Sabres fan, used to be, but I wonder why. But Sabres don't have a Josh Allen type player to save the coach GM like the Bills have had. Remove Josh Allen, you probably have the Sabres of the NFL. That is, oh my God, yo, I couldn't have said that any better." And I think that is what we're talking about. And that's why I always get into, why are we winning the games that we're winning? Why are we winning the way that we're winning? It's not, it actually has nothing to do with the coaching staff. When you look at the games that we won this season, we didn't win because our defense was dominant and we were slamming dudes. We won because we got so far ahead of teams that they couldn't catch up, or we just had a quarterback that can win in bad situations no matter what. Like, Josh Allen came up living this kind of life where he had to carry a team. So this is nothing for him. That's why the team looks so good. That's why the team has had the success it's had. And that's what I've been trying to drive the attention towards. Our winning has nothing to do with the GM or the coach after the picking of Josh Allen. Realistically, what other player have we drafted that, and I mean this when I say this, what player have we drafted aside from Josh Allen and James Cook that has really come in here on offense and been a dog?
See, you took my answer. You knew what you were doing.
What player on defense have we drafted that's really come in here and been a dog that can show up like Josh and James Cook on defense?
Now, you see, I guarantee that some people are going to say Greg Rousseau.
Some people are going to say Ed Oliver, too. It's neither.
That's what I'm saying. Some people are going to say
neither of those players are elite. They're good.
Yes.
But they're not elite.
Right. They're not standalone. They're not cornerstones.
To me, the closest one we got on defense is Terrell Bernard. The closest.
I agree with that.
100%. The closest one you got.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you're absolutely right. He deserves to be a captain, all that. More power to him. I love his game. But you were saying this a couple episodes ago. You don't want to see Terrell Bernard against Philly.
No.
Who wants to see Terrell Bernard against Philly? Like, Philly is like, yo, we putting Nakobe Dean up against anybody. We put Zach Bond against anybody. Like, the Chiefs? All right, come on, bring it on. Like, this is the problem.
Yeah.
Like, we're winning. Josh Allen has been winning in spite of what's on his team around him and in spite of what his staff has done around him. That's what we're looking at. So again, even if we just collectively put a little bit of pressure on Sean to change his tactics, we don't have to put pressure to fire him. If y'all don't want to go through what the Sabres are going through, fine. But I think, as Joe stated it perfectly, the Sabres do not have a Josh, and they have now gone through 9 coaches in how many years? 9 coaches in 9 years?
No, it's even 9 coaches. I went to 2010. So whatever that is.
I think, no, it was 2015, wasn't it?
Hold on a second. 9 coaches, 1990.
Since 1990.
9 coaches since 1990.
Yep.
So how many coaches since 2015?
2015, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5.
So 5 coaches in
9
5 coaches in 10 years.
Yep.
5 coaches in 10 years.
Yep. And look at the GMs. I mean, Tim Murray on up to Tim Murray, Botterill, Adams, no playoff appearances. Darcy Regier has been was we have 4 GMs in what is this? 20 years. 4 GMs. And Darcy Regier was doing fine until Pagula took over.
Yeah. Roy says remove Mahomes. Oh, you done messed up now. He says because I'm about to poke the biggest hole in this point. He says remove Mahomes from KC. How many games do they win? They were 10-6 before they got Mahomes. They made the playoffs. They were winning. They were winning already before Mahomes got there. That's why Mahomes had to sit for a year. Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, top tier quarterbacks help teams win. Remove them and the whole situation changes. Look. It's different. It would look vastly different if Mahomes had to sit down. And Mahomes has had to sit down. You know what happened? Mahomes had to sit down in a playoff game for the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. And guess what?
They won. You forgot, though.
They got the fourth down play. Who was the quarterback? Was it Nick Foles for them? Or was it
Alex Smith?
Nope.
Wasn't Alex Smith?
Nope.
No.
Alex Smith was before.
Oh, he was the one that he said.
Chad
Oh, he's talking
Henne?
about.
It was Chad Henne.
Okay.
That's who it was. It was Chad Henne.
Henning or Pennington. I forgot which one it is, but it was Chad something.
Henny.
Yeah, it was Chad Henne.
Henne.
You forgot. Joseph Sanders. Can we call you Joe? I mean, your family, so whatever. But
Yeah,
we got to
no
make
doubt.
sure. Can we? Are we on a nickname basis now? We good?
Yeah. Man, listen. Carl Tomlin, appreciate it, man. He says, hey, guys, I see the loss to the Chiefs as a failure of Joe Brady. James Cook had 0 yards rushing in the first quarter. I think that Bobby Babich and Joe Brady will be seasoned and and we can win next year.
I can go with that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see.
Our defense it's got to be different.
It's got to be overhauled. Yeah,
be different.
I agree.
See, the thing about that, why I can go at that point, why I like that point, is because what I always say about new guys, you gotta let them do what
grow.
they do.
Yeah.
They gotta grow.
Yeah.
You know, and I will say, you know, whether it's true or not, I will say the fact that the defense took a step back from everything McDermott, Frazier, everybody. It shows me that he at least let Babbage do what Babbage does.
Right.
Even if he did have some influence.
Right.
He said, okay, let me see what you got. And it wasn't a lot. But
Right.
to be fair, I mean, you didn't have a lot on defense. Your safeties are not straight start safeties.
So the same point you said with Brady, I could work with whatever you give me. That's what Babbage had to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
He had to work with whatever he had because, again, like we just attested to, he have no elite players on his defense, but he was still good enough to make it to the AFC Championship. So,
Yeah. And from that perspective, yeah, I think there's hope there. There's hope in terms of these are two coordinators now that have shown you that they can do it with bargain basement talent. You know what I'm saying? They did what they did with bargain basement talent. So credit to them. But I mean, realistically, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that the Bills will get the elite enough talent or get the elite talent to give to these coordinators so that they can be the next Spags and be the next Andy Reid?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you guys think? Scale of 1 to 10, confidence level.
That McDermott's going to acquiesce enough to give them the leeway to do that?
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be here long enough. I mean, I think I think he see, like I said, he said in 2017, I would never believe this is me now. But I'm getting older. He said, I'm getting older. He said, I'm having more fun. I can crack jokes. You guys just don't know about it. I'm funny as ever. He said, I'm a cool dude in the locker room. Nobody's gonna tell you that. But we all knew it was a tight butt. What was his name? Tyler, the guy that wrote the
Tyler
Dunn.
Yeah.
His article. He was a tyrant.
Yeah.
You know, Josh, you know, does Josh love him? Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Don't know. But I think he's getting better. But the thing is, his incremental change is not going to sustain when you got a name like Joe Brady on your team. He's one of the hottest names out there. He pulled out of the Saints job. Why? Because he had $70 million cap space. So negative $70 million cap. You can do with these guys because they're going to be gone.
Yeah.
But hopefully you learn enough that when you get an up and comer like the Notre Dame coach that everybody wants to come to the league, if you can't get a hit, go get him and let him do his thing, because now you've learned in yourself what it takes to let somebody do their job. I'm old. I can't go do everybody's job for him. I shouldn't have to.
Right.
I'm a supervisor, if you will. I shouldn't have to do your job and mine as well. I give you the resources for you to do your job better. When he realizes that wholly and completely, then we're talking about something different.
OLI says this belief that Brady is proven is crazy.
I'm not saying I believe it. I'm just saying
I mean,
the
he's
name
not
is
proven.
hot right now.
He's not proven, but he proved that he can give a comparable offense. Like, you look at the offense, like, when the last time we had a run game in Buffalo?
Yeah.
Right.
We had a Junie sighting?
Yeah, I know.
We saw Junie. Okay. And it went off. It went off on us.
Okay.
And we know we saw this year.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so with the 10 minutes we have left, look, everybody is going to find some sort of way to make Khalil Mack work, to make Myles Garrett work, to make Devontae Adams work if Aaron Glenn doesn't want to keep going with Aaron Rodgers, because I think if Aaron Rodgers ends up retiring, then Devontae Adams is out of there.
Yeah, you said that.
Breaking news: which is on the trade block right now?
Who?
Cooper Kupp.
What?
Rams informed them that they are trading him.
Okay, so people in this city and people who are fans of this team are going to find ways to look at these names and say, how can they become a Buffalo
Spot Track's going to crash tonight. You know that, right?
Oh, probably.
And Over the Cap's going to crash tonight. They all going to crash. Don't try to do it on contracts tonight because everybody going to be on there. The server's going to be destroyed.
Why can't these things just work? Jeez. This is incredible. Another Junie sighting. Here we go. Look, at the end of the day, it all comes to building a roster around Josh and building a defense that can help him win a championship. So, I'll ask you guys, round 1 of the draft. Let's set aside all the players that we can trade for and all that kind of stuff, because I cap wise my
answer's gonna be too long. This is you and Matt. Too long. You and Matt. I got something scenario to do. I've done 6 mocks already.
Okay.
Oh yeah, can I plug it while we still have
Yep.
43 people here? If you want to talk draft, this is my time. You want to talk draft, all season stuff, the college prospects, please look me up anywhere. Put me on X, put me on our community page. I want to talk college with you guys. So please, let's do it.
We're gonna be doing some college shows.
I know.
Right. Okay.
I know.
Yeah. And that's gonna be separate from this stuff, right?
I want to talk college. I want to talk everything. Everything ain't gonna fit in these shows. I'm telling you right now.
So we're gonna have to do more shows.
We have to do something.
Oh, you speaking? Yes.
That was a high pitched squeal. Your voice don't go that high usually.
No, I don't. It don't. I'm super excited. All right. So first round of the draft this season. What's the biggest need for the Bills, and what position do you think is the most likely to be filled with the first round pick? Because the cap is only going to allow for picks that we either trade up for, or you know what I mean. Like, most of what we can spend is going to be re-signing guys or extending guys and stuff like that. We're not going to have a ton of cap space.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see a cornerback. Looking at the cap, because I would love an edge rusher, but they're not going to afford one in the first round because that's the highest paid position on defense. A lot of people got us mocked to a defensive tackle, but I think we really need to fix the cornerbacks because, like I said, Benford is cool. Russell Douglas got to go, and everybody else behind him, they got to go, man.
We keep Cam Lewis.
Cam Lewis, he's a nickel. So
you talking about
outside.
Would you keep him? I think I would.
Cam?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm keeping Teron and Cam. I want both of them nickels, but the outside, nah.
Yeah. So I want to ask you this question, Key, because you're the draft expert. I was talking to Damaris about this earlier today, and he said that the corner that is mocked to the Bills is the guy coming off the ACL injury.
Who's that?
The corner. He said there's 2 corners that had season-ending injuries this season, and one of them was mocked to the Bills.
At 30?
Yeah. If it doesn't ring a bell, that's fine.
I'm not sure who that is per se. If you know, Damaris, you still around? Let me know who you got.
So
I need the names. But
so the question I want to ask you though is with this year's draft being so short in corner talent.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this is a situation where the Bills look at their cornerback room and they say, well, Christian Benford is our number 1, so do we really need to trade up for a corner, or can we find a value guy in the later rounds?
You're gonna be there. No, you can get one at 30. They're deep, so you can get one at 30, and you can double back in the later rounds as well.
So you actually think the corner class in this is deeper?
Pretty deep. It's pretty. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
Okay.
if you want to start it right away, you're gonna want to go early.
Oh, Joe says Morrison from ND.
Benjamin Morrison.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's 6 foot, 190, won a 4.3, really a 4.4.
Okay.
Projected as a day one starter.
Yeah, I mean the ACO. I don't really have. I'm not interested in rehabbing that. I want I mean you got guys like Jade Barron. You got what's the guy Troy Amos from Ole Miss. I mean these are bigger guys that you want to get invest your top dollar in. Or I mean edge is deep too. So I'm not as worried about edge. Defensive tackle. I know you were playing. I'm not going to go in deep, but Alfred Collins, 330 pounds from Texas. He's a one gapper. There's a bunch of one gappers you can get there. You got Jordan Birch, who is the edge from Oregon. You got guys, somebody mentioned from Michigan, but I watched. This is one thing I want you guys to do because I was excited to watch this mock draft show on YouTube last night. It was about 10 minutes, and it's a newer show. And I'm not going to slander the guy because he wanted put his product out there. But I mean, he mocked the Bills to take a guy that's supposed to be the number one defensive tackle in the draft. What? Like you didn't do your homework.
The Bills have never done that.
Well, he's not going to last a 30 either.
Right.
That's the thing. Like he had him taking a 30. But it was he didn't run the. You got to run a simulator.
Yeah.
Anytime I ask people to tell me because they're like that trip, run a simulator. Let me see yours. Because it's easy for me to say, yeah, we'll go get Mike Green here. We'll go get Andrew Makuba here. We'll go get. No, it's easy for that. But guess what? There's 31 other teams trying to draft too.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to move and shake. And this is a year when if you want to really go ahead and make your offense pop, Marcus Golden, you can move up for you got 12 picks. I can tell you, Gray Zabel. This is the only offensive lineman I would take, a guard from North Dakota State. He stonewalled everybody at the Senior Bowl, the practice. Everybody. I mean, he's a talk of the town. You can look him up. So, I mean, I say this to say, don't reach and move on to your second position if you have to. If you want to do cornerback, do your cornerback. But if it's not there, just leave it alone for a minute because there will be some later, second and third round. You can get a starter in second, third round. It's fine. Go ahead and get you a tackle, get you an edge. Don't reach. Don't trade up. Don't panic. It'll be there. Let it come to you.
Okay. So basically that means don't trade up.
What I'm saying is if you want to trade it for this guy,
you got to make
a
sure
bona fide, not a Kyer Elam trade, but a Brian Thomas Jr. trade.
Yeah.
If you want Marcus Golden, which is the number one wide receiver outside of Tedero McMillan, trade up and get him if he's there, if you can do it. But he's bona fide. Kyer Elam was a project. Dalton Kincaid was this pass catcher. If you didn't need that, you could have went and got somebody else that does the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to say this earlier. The Dalton Kincaid thing, I think he's in that position now because you changed the offense. And you said this.
Yep.
You did say this. That's right. I remember that now. Like Kincaid is he should have been the next Zach Ertz if he was put in that position to be that. But he is where he is now, having to put on weight and become a blocker. So, I mean, get ready for that draft pick to mean absolutely nothing now in terms of, pass catching ability for Josh Allen and, help this offense be something amazing to watch. In terms of the Elam pick, though, do we think that the Bills didn't think that Elam could come in that? Because I guess the thought process that you were talking about is if you're going to move up to get a guy, you got to move up to get a guy that can produce, that you've seen that has a track record of producing, right?
Yep.
But it seems like the guys that the Bills draft, obviously the culture thing, as Bean and Sean talked about, that's the first thing they look for. That's that, or I should say that's the most important thing they look for. And then the ancillary stuff is the speed and the talent, and can they can they learn things fast enough and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But do you think that the Bills are going to? Not now with where they are, pretty much a clean slate on defense, because a lot of these guys are just going to be just gone with no hope of coming back. I mean, Phillips already knows he's not coming back. He already sent out the notification, thanking everybody. so he, but do we? What's the thing now going into this draft that we can look at and say, okay, based on what we've seen in the previous draft, we know they're going to pick better players.
I don't have anything.
I don't know. So to me, I think the reason why Bean get the players that he get, I feel like Bean is trying to find that Tom Brady. He's trying to find that great player, but in the lower rounds.
That I'm smarter than you kind of guy. Yeah.
So you look at that Kyler Elam pick, right? You look at all those guys that they picked. Like we said, they never pick the top players of the draft pool of their class, right? One, because probably they can't afford them. They can't pay that contract. So they look for the diamonds in the rough. And I think, honestly, they just missed with Elam. They thought that he had a lot of potential. He was a diamond in the rough. They're going to get him. He's going to be this great player. And it wasn't so. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at all the players besides we tried Edmonds and Josh, all the other players seem like they were bargain picks.
Yeah.
They got him at a bargain, not for, we went and drafted the best player. We got the best bargain player. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah, I was going to answer Lindsay's. That's a good point. That I agree 100%. McDuffie was our guy. We panic and go get Elam. You know, it's like, how you can tell us anything you want to tell us when the draft is all, when the dust settles. But to Lindsay's question, the most what did she say? Jalen Carter-esque.
Yeah.
It's probably Kenneth Grant Kenneth Gant from Michigan, which we have no prayer of getting. That's the one that the guy mocked to the Bills at 30. He's the number 1 overall defensive tackle. It's not happening.
Is he higher than this kid Mason Graham from Michigan?
Yeah, he's his running mate.
Really?
Yeah, he's his running mate. Mason Graham is good, but Gant is better.
Gant is better.
He was good, but Gant is better. I think you have the biggest shot at you're looking at probably Alfred Collins, which is a 340-pound guy. I really, really enjoyed Toledo's Darius Alexander. So just look out for those guys. Watch them at the combine, see what you think.
OLI says, I need 2 340-pound defensive
And that's what
tackles.
you see what I said. I said, watch this. You know how I get with those. Give me the big Samoans. Right. Give me them cats.
Is there any Samoans in the draft class?
There are Samoans in the draft class.
Yeah?
Not a D tackle though. Defensive end, which I can't work with because I don't need a power rusher.
Right.
Yeah.
I want a speed rusher. Nick Scorton, hey, come along. If we didn't have a group, if we had a pass rusher, I'd be like, come along. That cuts it all in half for me.
Yeah. Steve Lynn says Edmonds was not all that, did not produce like a top 15 linebacker pick. I mean, I think this episode is the final grievance and airing of, you know, the season's production as a whole, right? What's going on over there, Joe? You still loading? Our screen is loading or something like that right now? Oh, okay. Anyway, I think everything that we've talked about is a reflection of this season's production, and going into next season, I mean, we're obviously in a situation where the coaching staff is not going anywhere, and I think that's clear. We knew that, you know, and based on the way that, you know, these guys are talking in the pressers, they know that too. So the best thing that we can do is to put pressure on these guys to make the necessary changes to be great. You know what I mean? If we're going to have any kind of influence at all, that's what it's going to have to be. We aren't going to push these guys out of office, but we can still have some influence on, you know, the moves they make and the way that they win games. And, you know, I mean, look, the point about the Sabres is once you came up with that point and presented that as an option or a reason for why, A, the owner is not so willing to fire the coach, and B, the combine that with the point that Joseph Sanders brought out. Thank you again for that one, bro. You know, the fact that he has a Josh Allen that bails him out of, you know, that bails this coaching staff out of everything. Why would you change that? You know what I'm saying? You have, it's like, oh, I don't want to say, it's like you work for a company. Mm-hmm. But they sublet you to another smaller company, and the company you're a part of is, well, frankly, it's terrible. You know what I'm saying? The other workers around you don't come in on time. The owner, is basically running the company into the ground. Everybody's miserable. You can never take your lunch on time. There's too much responsibility for your pay. And every time you get sublet out to this other smaller organization, it's like heaven. But you can't stay there because you still have to go back to the company that you actually work for. Like, let's keep in mind, Pagula wanted to buy the Sabres. He didn't want to buy the Bills. He didn't come here for the Bills. He came here for the Sabres. So his experience as an owner, as far as his vision and what he wanted to have here, that's not working. So the alternative is, is the Buffalo Bills have this, we're winning, we have this love, we have all this happiness over here, and the fans love it. I just want to live in that. I don't want to have to deal all day, every day with what's going on with the Sabres for both teams.
Yeah.
I don't want to do the work necessary to get both situations right. I don't even know how to do that. And the people that I've hired, they don't know how to do it either. So why would I change anything?
Right.
But I digress. My voice is leaving me.
Well, you know what you need on that, though.
Yeah.
My brother, what have you been doing? What have you been doing?
I've been trying to heal, but I don't think I can heal without what
you can't heal without the Reed's tea, baby.
I can't do it.
Get it together.
I can't do it.
Why? Because it's 1 part refreshing, delicious, and healthy. 2 parts. Not 1, but twice. That's what you can expect. If my brother drink that Reed's tea, he'd be all right.
Oh, man.
I don't drink tea, but let me tell you, that's a good drink right there. What you doing? Head over to Reed's. Get yourself a supply of the case or individuals. Why would you get the individuals? Get yourself a case. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
What do I know? See for yourself. Reed's tea. Click the link in the description below. Use the code PPP, Post Podium Podcast. Let them know who sent you. Anything else you got, Matt? You got any other thoughts?
No.
You want some of this, old man? No.
All right. So let me just adjust the volume here for everybody. And
What's on? Okay, you got it.
Yep. That should be good right about there. All right. So first and foremost, I want to thank everybody for your patience today. We got through a couple episodes without having major technical issues here, but it seems they've crept up on us again. So we'll get that fixed for you guys. But look, if you haven't done so by now, what are you waiting for? Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, make that thing
Ring-a-ling-a-ling.
so that you can get notifications when we send notifications, like the 2 different times that we changed the episode to. We were supposed to have one Friday, weren't able to get it, had to move it to today.
It was me.
No.
It was I.
I wasn't even gonna bring that up. But that's why you want to have the bell on, so that you can know when we go on live, so that you can know when we make changes and when we got new things coming. Like, I've already submitted the membership program to YouTube. It usually takes about 24 hours for them to approve that. So this time tomorrow, I will be flicking that button on, and we just lost video. If you want to do some gaming video with us, that we'll post on the Okay, so we're back on now. So I was saying what?
Say before with the stuff, the videos and all that stuff.
The membership stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, so the membership perks. We got perks in there where, if you're a member, you can come on the show with us live for a segment and hang out and give your opinions and your comments and all that kind of stuff live. You just let it run. Just let the audio run. So anyway, it's right. Anyway, So look for that tomorrow. We're going to get out of here because I'm about to start ripping this all apart. This has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I've been your co-host, Aramis.
Millie Mack.
40 keys.
Yeah. OLI. Definitely Madden. Definitely Madden and definitely some CFB, right? I'm willing to play some CFB.
Oh.
Yeah, so we can do all that. So yeah, check that out. I'm sure you guys will love it. It's only $4.99 a month, very cheap, but for everything you get, it's definitely worth it.
Now you're talking a language. Now you're talking.
Yeah. So all right, we'll see y'all later. I'm sorry, this has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I've been your co-host, Aramis.
Millie Mac.
Again, Millie Mac.
40 keys. See y'all later.
All right, peace.